for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
S-I-C-K,
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. CF Montreal Talk.
Here's the chance. They've got the goal. Absolutely incredible. Cameron Porter the goal to send Montreal Impact into the Cóccaro Champions League semi-final.
The sickest CF Montreal podcast. Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Playground. Your premier gaming destination. Complete Striker. And Innov Sport.
Collaborer avec Innov Sport, une compagnie d'ici afin de dynamiser l'apprentissage et la pratique du sport pour tous et partout.
Les différents produits permettent de rester actif tout en développant sa confiance, son autonomie et sa technique. Des produits efficaces, progressifs et personnalisés avec le logo de votre école.
Innov Sport, pour tous et partout.
It's gonna be sick.
And welcome on this Monday, April 15. I am Marinaro. It is the Sick Podcast, and it's brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, brought to you in part by Playground, brought to you in part by Patrice Bernier's Innov Sport, and Ali Gerba's Soccer Center in Mirabel, Complete Striker. Home opener for CF Montreal, and you usually like to get a big win in the home opener in front of a sellout crowd. It was a sellout crowd, despite the weather and despite the Olympic Stadium was charging $45 to park. The weather and the parking was the bad news. The good news is the entertainment was au rendezvous. The good news is CF Montreal got a couple of goals, one by Joseph Martinez. That's why they're paying him as much as they're paying him. The other by Ariel Lassiter. And, of course, a big 2-1 win over FC Cincinnati, who is not an easy out. But CF Montreal looked like they were doing extremely well at times for the most part in that game on Saturday. Laurent Courtois seemed to be a very, very happy camper at the end of the game. Without further ado, let me bring them in. Former Montreal Impact players, Patrice Bernier and Ali Gerba. Gentlemen, what's going on? That's Ali Gerba in the middle and Patrice Bernier playing on the right side. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tony.
How's it going? Hey, everybody.
Hey, this is the first time that I've noticed that Patrice is so much taller than Ali. My God.
You know, I grew in a few at the end of my career. I still kept growing.
What are you doing? Stretches?
No. I just want to be comfortable. So
hey, all kidding aside, and that this was not the topic of conversation today, but you know, Ali, back in the day, I don't think it was as important, or I don't think as many teams were looking for big, tall strikers as they are today. It's somewhat a little bit more fashionable now, but so it wasn't an issue, and you never had an issue. But are there things that you tried to do to stretch out and to be as tall as possible when you were playing?
I take the move of Cristiano Ronaldo. So when you take a picture, you just stand up on your toes. So you look taller than the average. So little stuff like that. But when it comes to soccer ball, tall, small, or what, if you don't have that technique, it's gonna be difficult.
I will add, if you know how to score, people tend to forget how tall you are because you can put it at the back of the net.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's what they say for most, for about 99%.
Yes, for most.
Yes. Okay, guys, big win. Unfortunately, it came at an expense because Mathias Cóccaro left the game limping, left the game without being able to put pressure on one leg. We're going to discuss it. We'll get to it in about a minute. Before we do, let's get to CF Montreal starting lineup for that game. All right. Here you have it. You had Sirois in goal. You had a back line with Waterman, with Campbell on his right and Sosa on his left. You had Edwards as a left wing back. You had Rouen as a right wing back. You had Piet and Chouanière right in front of the back line. And you had Duke and Lassiter in behind Cóccaro. Breza, Wanyama, Alvarez, Toy, Ibrahim, Martinez, Zuir, Lapalainen, and Corbo on the bench. Patrice, when you saw the lineup, what's the first thing you said to yourself?
I said,
let's keep it up, by the way, if we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, congrats, giving another shot to the defense that took 5-0, because we know he was trying out something in Seattle. It didn't really pan out. Most coaches would have reverted back to having Corbo and Alvarez, or at least bringing back Corbo into the 3. But he kept with Campbell, Waterman, and Sosa, and ended up being a great game. Lassiter up front, I think it was a bit more by default. So many injuries up front that, and let's not forget, Lassiter is a forward that was converted to a left back. Most people are talking about, oh yeah, I think that's his best position. He's a forward.
Converted to left wing back, if I can. And yes, and thank you for stating that, because I had said Duke and Lassiter in behind Cóccaro. It was actually Duke in behind Lassiter and Cóccaro. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, because Lassiter is a forward. When we got him from Inter Miami, he was a forward. He's known for scoring goals. He may be not a top goal scorer, but he's known to score goals. And his father was one of the premier scorers in MLS history. But yeah, really interesting. But definitely giving the confidence to the 3 center backs paid out, and it showed.
Ali?
I'm agree with Pat what he's saying, and even that I can go to more detail too about last. I think he have a great game, and it's something that I would like to see more, and I would like to see more when he come around the goal to be more efficiency. So I think then he have a lot of opportunity when he play, and the lineup, just like Patrice said, give a confidence of some of the players. Then they have a really bad game, and he's as experienced player. I'm like, it's very difficult after taking 5-0 somewhere to be able to start the game again. It was fresh to see then Courtois have a different way of doing things, and it's refreshing to see that. I was very happy.
You know, guys, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. When CF Montreal made that trade, I inquired with several people around the league about Duke and Lassiter. And what they told me is, Tony, it all depends on the role that they want to give them. And I said, okay. And I said, well, it looks like they want to give Lassiter the left wing back role. And they said, it's not his most comfortable position. It would be his 3rd position, probably, because his 2nd position would be that of a left winger in a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3. And his 1st position would be that of a 2nd forward. So if you're asking me, can he play left wing back? He can, but probably 3rd most comfortable position besides forward 1st and left winger 2nd. I said, okay. And then they said Duke, and they said, well, if they want to give him the 10, some days he looks like a 6, and some days he looks like an 8, and maybe the 8 is his most comfortable position. So if they try and make him a 10 all the time, it will, once again, it's not his most comfortable position. So I said, okay, why am I saying this? Guys, I don't think it's a coincidence that Lassiter played more up top on the weekend, and it's the best game that he's played this season. It's the best game that he's played for this team in a long, long time since coming over. He seemed free on Saturday night. He seemed like a horse that was just ready for that final sprint. He seemed a lot more free. Pat?
Yeah, I think when he arrived in Montreal, I think that's where he thought he was going to play. But we all know last year there was nobody convincing on the left side of the field. They played him there once or twice, and he ended up being the one bringing the most dangerous crosses and being maybe the most effective, knowing that maybe defensively he was a bit susceptible because he's not a left back. But I know I've seen him in the league. He's been in the league for a while. As a forward, he's an incisive forward. Even for Costa Rica, he plays up front. He does not play as a left back. Last year was more as default. So at the beginning of the season, I didn't count him as a guys playing on the left. I knew Edwards was there, and I said, okay, the new coach might put him back at his original position, which is in the front 3, or at least as a forward. But you see, he has that explosiveness, that willing. He may be not a clear-cut finisher, but you can see when he's around the goal, things happen. He uses his pace. He's got a good left foot. He can shoot it properly, and he can put it across the goal quite well. And you saw it in the game. He was dangerous. While for Bryce Duke, same thing. I've seen him play when he was Inter Miami. They were expecting him to take the next step. And to matter of fact, in the transaction that we got, the most money spent was on the value of Bryce Duke. More than Lassiter.
Yeah.
So Bryce Duke was heavily touted in Inter Miami. They thought that he could take that next step, but I don't believe he's a number 10, but I believe he's an offensive player. That means he can play in between the lines. Don't expect him to be Carlos Gil or Lucho Acosta, but he's a guy who can bring, and when he's in confidence, because we spoke about it here, he didn't look like in confidence the first few games. Saturday, he looked like a man who was free. He maybe listened to your song, I Want to Break Free.
I want to break free. I want to break free. That's what I'm going to say to Ali Gerba when we play in Patrice Bernier, ses amis, in less than 2 weeks from now. He's on my team. I know he's going to want to cherry pick. Everyone knows that I cherry pick. Look at my size. I'm not running back. And I'm going to look at Ali Gerba and I'm going to say, Ali, can you go back, please get the ball for me and just throw it to the other net. I'm going to be there by the post because, Ali, I want to break free. I want to break free. Hey, I can't wait to. Hey, Patrice, you guys knew what you were doing when you put together a team. Marinette Pichon, Ali Gerba, and Tony Marinaro. You're going to have 3 players who are going to be playing next to the other team's goalie. Who's going to play defense for our team?
Definitely that team is going to be, there'll be a gap in the middle.
We are going to be unbalanced. I can tell you that very much. You might as well give us Rocco too while you're at it. At that point, we play everybody up and nobody back. All right. Okay. Patrice Bernier et ses amis, we're going to have a chance to talk to you about it. But once again, it's going to be on Sunday, April 28th. It's an event that I have circled on my calendar every year. I look forward to it as we'll talk to you more about that in the next week or so as Patrice, of course, tries to raise money for just fantastic causes. Okay.
And plus that, you have to put something. You have a poker last Friday.
Yes.
I think the poker was great. Great event at IQ Soccer. Thank you, Pat, for inviting me. It was nice. You know where to get me. So it was food. So I was I'm a happy place. I don't play that much poker. So, you know what? But the guys, everybody there look like they have a fantastic time. So thank you again. And people, they should go and support the foundation more often.
Good for Pat. It was an event that took place in collaboration with Goal Initiatives, of course, yes, at Soccer IQ in Laval. And obviously, Ali didn't win the tournament because if he did, would have been the first things out of his mouth. But you know what? You give Ali a glass of XO and a cigar and his spa, and he's in his happy place. Yeah, he's good. All right, okay. Ali, sometimes in sport, it's all about opportunity. Lassiter got an opportunity to play up front on Saturday. We saw the cannon of the left foot come out. We saw the big goal, which ended up being the game winner. With Opoku still out with an injury, with Cóccaro, looks like he's going to be out a while. We'll cross our fingers and hope not. He was going for X-rays today. Maybe we'll get some news while this podcast is going on. But some guys being on and in and out of the doghouse at the forward position. And, you know, this could end up being his position, not to mention that Edwards, who came in as Raheem the Dream, but then got that red card in Chicago, and it ended up being Raheem the Nightmare on that particular day. Well, Raheem the Dream was able to redeem himself on the weekend. It was now Redeem Raheem with a big assist, of course, on Martinez's goal. But could this be the first of many for Lassiter playing up top, in your opinion, Ali?
I hope so. It's somebody. I was at the game. It's somebody. Then you know what? I saw him on the different angle, and Patrice said something that is true. It's not a lot of people. Then not because they put on your savior, you're a forward. That means that you're a goal scorer. And he's a guy that you see them. They have a lot of. He's a guy that I like a lot, and you can see that they have a lot of things that he need to work because the goal behind him. You have a very difficulty to turn and be able to attack. But when you look at the goal or you look at his position, when he can see the goal in front of him, is very dangerous. Very athletic, his movement was great. It was buzzing. I like it, but in the other side, I saw the first time because Montreal put a lot of pressure on the Cincinnati team on the first 20 minutes. And they have a good opportunity. And Lassiter was one of them. Then he came in with his right foot. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
And that, for me, in that position, in that angle, at least you have to hit the net. I don't expect him to score because I know it's very difficult. At least you have to hit the net for the goalkeeper to go and work to get that ball. And that's what I'm like, you know what? He's gonna have a lot of occasion, and you need to polish his finishing. You need, because he's a guy who can give you minimum, I say 10 to 12 goals a season. If you keep that rate and that work rate, he's gonna have the opportunity, but you only have to make sure that he scores them.
Complete striker in Mirabel. That's your place to complete your finishing and to improve your finishing. And so there's an open invitation to Lassiter by Ali Gerba.
It's not only an invitation, but because people, they have to understand, Tony, that to come to a certain point, then you have to understand what you're missing on your game to be on that another level. And a lot of those guys, that even the preseason, they don't understand and work on what you need the most or what your weakness is. It's not only to come and say you're gonna. No, you have to understand what your game is missing, and that's what I try to educate those kids. And you know what? Stop following your friend because they're going somewhere, then they're gonna play game the whole preseason. Work on your ability, on your weakness, and increase them to be the toppest than they can never be.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the game sheet if we can. Shane Gaumont on Master Control, thank you very much. No, not the final game sheet, pardon me, just the, there we go. Okay, we got it here. All right, couple of yellow cards to Orlando and Yedlin at the 18 and the 21. And then, guys, at the 26th minute, Cóccaro comes off and Martinez comes on. As Cóccaro, there's a tackle. It kind of looked like something buckled. We're hoping not. If you can tell the reactions of the player looked very concerned. He looked like he felt something shifted and was off. I don't want to get too far here. Once again, we hope not. But guys, it looked like some concern from the player. How did you see it, Ali?
Me too. I got worried for him because he's a guy that's part of his game. But even that on that contact, I thought that he can protect himself a little bit more because he let the guy open up. Because I thought in the last minute he's gonna maybe lift his hand to be able to slow down the opponent because the guy came to the angle that you saw him coming. You know that he's gonna come and give you that tackle. But I was expecting him more to protect himself. But when he went down, I got worried because that position, it was very weak in the air when he got hit. So for me, I got worried about it a little bit. But I was more happy for him to be able to try to walk without no help. And even if he got help because he passed in front of me and I have the opportunity to really see, it looked like, I hope he wasn't that bad than he looked.
Patrice, what did you see?
Yeah, no, personally, because he was able to keep going on the field. So I don't know, like what's when he got the first injury, you never know because sometimes you hyperextend your knee, you get a sensation like your knees pop, and you feel you can keep going after a few minutes when the pain comes down. But then he kept going, and then he just sat down. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not medical. I would say if he popped his cruciate ligaments, he would not have been able to walk. He definitely would have felt like his knee exploded. So I hope the factor that he was walking, that it's not as bad as what we expect from him. So, but now all we can say is hope for the x-rays. But like Ali said, the factor that he was a bit walking, now it will be something in his knee. Can it be something else? You never know. There's meniscus there. There's all sorts of things that can happen in your knee. Hopefully for him is not as long as what we all see because everybody saw him with a brace in the picture. So now we're thinking very far. But let's see what the x-rays say. The factor that he was walking Doesn't say that it's not bad, but it didn't look as bad as what I think it could be.
Guys, Martinez comes in for him once again, and this is a great pass by Raheem Edwards on the left side, who finds Martinez in the box. And Ali Gerba, once again, what you've been preaching, when you're in the box, you don't have to blast the ball. Break it down, but it seemed to me that Martinez did everything you needed to do on that particular play. He got himself open. He got himself positioned. He took an eye at the net and knew where the net was before he actually shot. He controlled the ball well. He turned and he placed the ball into the corner. You can break it down better than I can. Tell us what you saw in the goal.
But when I saw Raheem going on the wing and the movement was going, and the way then he crossed the ball behind the defender when they was trying to cover the space in front of them. And when I saw that action from there, and when I saw where the ball was going through, I lift my hands and I knew then already it was a goal, because I started celebrating a goal before even the guy hit it, because I know, you know what, if you have a dream story, you would have wrote it. I rather Martinez be in that spot. So when I see it was him, it was just basically, with experience that he had, it was just a basic, the routine finishing for him. He got his information. He knew exactly what was in front of the net, and he just put on the corner. So the goalkeeper couldn't do much to save it. So for me, it was just like a perfect finishing and a perfect day for CF Montreal.
Patrice, the goal comes before halftime, and then it's not that much into the second half. That Kubo ties the game at 1. How did you see the equalizer?
That's where I kind of, because I felt like, okay, since Montreal started really well, good pressure, didn't give any time to breathe to Cincinnati. But then when the goal came, I said, oh, Cincinnati's they're stepping up now. They may be getting warmer because it was cold for them. They're not used to this type of weather, at least at this time of the year in Montreal. And Lucho Acosta was insignificant in the first 45 minutes, but he was starting to play make a bit more. It was a great finish. Even if I remember right before, he gave a nice pass to Kubo, who shot quickly into the hands of Jonathan Serrois, who just deflected it for a corner. You could see Cincinnati was now taking control a bit more of the game, getting to connect, which is a team, don't forget, they weren't Supporter Shield winners last year. It's not anybody that they beat, Montreal. It's a team that's even supposed to be better than last year. So that's where I said, let's see how Montreal reacts, because they started off well, but now it's 1-1. Are they going to go in the ropes like they've done in the last games away, which was the defend so low? And they ended up waking up and being very good on transition and maintaining the offensive mentality and getting chances after chances. So rallied really well in the second half, where I felt Cincinnati had taken control of the game, or at least possession of the ball.
Guys, Martinez not only scores the goal to put CF Montreal up 1-0 before halftime, but he plays passer on the goal by Lassiter. Presence of mind, head up. He sees that Lassiter is making a run, and he says, I'm going to give it to the guy who's making the run. He puts it to the outside. He puts the ball ahead of him, which are the balls that strikers love to get, right? Forwards love to get, Ali, when the ball is ahead of you, and you just run into it and you hammer it the way Lassiter did. The opposing goalie saw smoke on the shot.
Yeah, it was a great counterattack. I give credit also because, if I'm correct, it's Mathieu Choignard, and is it
correct? Yes.
And you got 4 guys blazing forward. They're creating havoc for the defense, knowing who is Martinez going to play it to. If I'm correct, Ron is even free on the right. Yeah. But he made the right choice, gave it to the guy who's known to score goals instead of the other 2, or maybe more midfielders and defenders. But well-laid pass, timed. He lured Miazga to fixate on the Martinez so that he could drop that pass for a Lassiter that was running, and then there was no chance. Then it was just put it on goal, especially on the sides. And I think he caught the goal a bit because he probably thought he was going to hit it across the goal, and it got caught first post, which is it was a great counterattack session, good transition, and good finish, and a good moment also, because they they shifted the momentum quickly. Having
Yep.
1-1, that goal kind of made it so, okay, they're back into it. While it seemed like Cincinnati was taking control and maybe was going to go and get that 2-1. So a great counterattack and well done by Montreal to finish it off. And Lassiter to have a finish off his performance also with a goal, having had one or two opportunities in the first half.
Ali, Pat is right. An ability to get the momentum back in the soccer game 4 minutes after the other team equalizes. We talked about the importance of being in the box and placing shots. This one, though, was a cannon.
Yes, and one thing about I want to implement on Patrice because it used a good technique to finish. And some of the way that ball roll, and if you're not applying yourself, most of the time, that ball going to lift up in the air. So it's very difficult ball to hit it. It's good that Martinez put in front of him. You just have to follow his movement. He didn't do a big swing, so those things are very difficult to do when you're in that position. And even that, Montreal create a lot of frustration to Cincinnati when the whole play was building. What do you call that? The number 10 was very frustrating because none of his stuff was working. And you see the frustration the whole game. I was observing him, the whole frustration the whole game. And most of the time that they make mistakes, Montreal was ready to punish them. And that's what I know that Montreal need to be more clinical because if you have a team like that, was a very they win the show last year, they're very good. You have to find a way that, you know what, one day at home, you have to make sure that all your occasions that you have to be able to punish them.
And you know, Ali, one of the things we haven't talked about is, you know, that when he belted that shot, when Lassiter did, some players take shots and you'll see them go over the net. Some players take shots like Lassiter did, and it was kind of like a rifle, a laser, did not go over the net. Reason being, he put his head over the ball. Correct me if I'm wrong. He put his head down and he went into it, because when your head is up or your body is more upward, those have a tendency to probably go over the bar a little bit more often, right? Anyway, let's go continue on with the game after Lassiter scores. Guys, this for me was very telling. I think Courtois looked at it and said, okay, we had a 1-0 lead going into the second half. I didn't put Wanyama on yet. Now we regained the lead. I got to put Wanyama in right away. He puts Wanyama in. He takes Edwards out. He's able to put Lassiter on the left side where Wanyama was. We've talked about it, guys, over the past couple of weeks. We didn't understand the reluctancy to go to Wanyama when they were up 3-1 in Chicago, up 3-2, tied at 3. You know, game after that, they're scoreless for a while. You want to maintain a result. He doesn't go to Wanyama. He went to Wanyama this time to try and close the game, which they ended up doing. Brought in Lapalainen for Duke at the 85, Toy for Martinez at the 85. Guys, let's talk about Duke. We haven't always given him the love, I think, because he's been extremely inconsistent and hasn't taken advantage of opportunities, not because we didn't want to. One of his better games on Saturday night. Yeah,
definitely. We spoke about it. We never said, look, the question wasn't, maybe certain people were like, Bryce Duke is not a good player. That wasn't the question. The question was, or at least what we brought up was, you could see he looks not in confidence, thinking too much, not taking actions where you're free. And in that game, every time he had the ball, even the times where he got fouled, we remember the first games, we felt Orlando and all, he was, as we say, punked off the ball. This time he put his body, got clobbered, but got the foul. And he was turning, he was playing 1-2s. This is probably the game where Montreal combined the most 1-2s that I've seen in a very long time. It was bang in, bang out, bang in, bang out every time, connecting, pass and movement. And that goes into Bryce Duke's qualities. And Laurent Courtois even said it after the game. We've seen what he can do in training. It was just irregular. He wasn't regular in his performances, even for us, I think, not really playing well. But when he's there, when he's in the pockets, when he's moving the ball and moving himself, we see his qualities. Short passes. We would love for him to shoot a bit more when he's around the top of the box because he had 1 or 2 looks. But I understand, I was like him. You were one of those guys who were always looking for the pass first and the shot. But we've seen last year that when he takes a shot, he's able to, when he's closer to the goal, to score. But it was definitely pleasing for everybody, knowing that this player, I think for Laurent Courtois, for himself, that when he's playing like that, he's good and he can make things happen. Now, that's one game. And can you repeat it? Because we've just spoke about it. Vilsain is out, Yankov is out, Cóccaro is going to be out. It's favorable situation for him to get playing time and build that confidence more, because if Yankov was there, we're talking about Wanyama, but let's not forget, if Nathan Saliba wasn't red carded, are we sure we would see Wanyama in? I don't know. But Bryce Duke was really good, and now hopefully he can stay. There's another game at home. Maybe it's the fact of coming back at home. They just took a slap in the face against Seattle, so they needed to react. But I love what I saw from Bryce Duke, because that's what I saw him in Inter Miami on a lot of times. Now, can he do that Saturday or the following week and the following week? Not necessarily being great, but being efficient like he was on Saturday against Cincinnati.
Being constant, Pat.
Yeah, that's what I mean about being regular. I mean, in terms of regular, consistent, game in, game out, he's creating chances. He doesn't need to create 10, but he's still pulling strings and being a busy bee, as he was inside in between the forwards and the midfield, as he was most of the game.
Because that, and I'm agree with you, and he did that very well. Huh? He was moving, and it's somebody that I was expecting a lot, and been very critical about him. But the last game, he worked very hard. He moved the ball, and one thing, you correct me, Pat, if I'm wrong, because I felt that to a certain point when he come in the box, he was doing a lot of leaving the ball, healing the ball, and the final pass yet, as a number 10, then you have high expectation. He's a guy who can unbalance the defense. The last pass, yes, I play good, but if on the last third, that pass, I don't see it yet. And most of the time I was there and watching the game very close to the game to be able to see they have a couple of actions that I can tell you. He tried to flick the ball, or sometimes he passed the ball. He expecting somebody to be there. And I think then his vision on the final third is not up there yet, because he's a guy who, with his movement, he should be able to give at least 5 to 6 occasions every game clear.
Yeah, I don't think he's there yet in terms of I see it in Yankov, the quality to be able to give that final pass. Bryce Duke, I see him as a connector, somebody that he'll come a wall pass, he'll knock it off, he'll create little pockets. But like I said, I think because he wears number 10, because he came as a trade, we all assume he will be Georgi Mihailovic, or a sort of. I don't think he's that creator type. I think he's a connector in between lines. He can maybe develop to be a player, but he's not in the range of a Lucho Acosta. And I'm not talking about the type of I'm talking about the type of player. Carlos Gil, the guys who in a game 2 or 3 times per half, they'll put one ball and it'll be really dangerous. Even though it doesn't get there, you can see their intentions. Right now, Duke is more where he makes the game keep rhythm. It's fluid when he knocks it around, moves it to the right person, and the ball keeps going. He's not yet at the stage where you think in the final third he will make something happen for others or for himself. Guys, it's a really good game.
Guys, it appears obviously that the midfield that Courtois has been going with thus far this season, of course, has been Piet and Choinière right in front of the center back and the back line. Laurent Courtois was asked about them looking extremely comfortable on Saturday night versus Cincinnati after the game. Let's hear the head coach on Piet and Choinière.
Know what we've been doing in training and the things that we were looking to produce. Some kind of a puzzle that you want to put together, and when one thing does not go the way you want, it's easy to doubt or question and everything. And today everybody was at his level, plus the fan factor probably, and facing a good team, and I don't know, everything just was on the right place at the right time, and they were able to do the stuff they do in training for a while now, and with the end project at the end, and not conceding cheap stuff that we agreed to not repeat, and every foul was a yellow card tonight, I feel like, so got scared a little bit, but really, really happy with everybody, even Joaquin Sosa and George were incredible today too, so yeah.
We're wrapping up in a couple of minutes. At the end of the game, Courtois called Joseph Martinez a Lamborghini. Here's why.
The way he feels, the way... no, for real, he's a different class of player, and I'm really fortunate to have the luxury to have him in the roster. He has so much to deal with, and to play so little last year, to have an off-season so long, and stuff that we have to deal with when we change club, being a foreigner. So he had the citizenship like me a few days ago. So no, he's just, he sees pass and actions that nobody sees, and his way to get unmarked. I wish we could talk about his capacity to get unmarked and create separation from his direct opponent, and those stuff that we can't even see because sometimes the ball doesn't get there. But he has a science of getting unmarked and find space that is just one of the few stuff that players that I've ever seen in my short career.
If Joseph Martinez is a Lamborghini, I guess that would make Ali Gerba a Hummer back in the day. All right, okay. Guys, last but not least, in ending, I know, Patrice, you got to go here very quickly on the football that Courtois wants.
Exactly,
Here's Courtois.
What we wanted to see, the type of build-up that we wanted to see, the type of arriving in the box that we wanted to see, the type of counter press we wanted to see, the type of managing the emotions that we wanted to see, or protecting the box, and solid in set pieces. So you had all those little departments together, and they gave a solid performance for the guys, and the guys that came in too were amazing too. And good day.
Pat, you were right when you said at the beginning, good for the coach for having the confidence to go back with the same back three, to go back with Sosa, to go back with Campbell after giving up 5 in Vancouver. Guys, in a nutshell, I think everyone played a very good game, right? From Piet to Chouanière in front of the back line, from the back line that you just talked about. The wing backs, you saw them. Rouen played very well. Raheem Edwards, the big assist on the first goal. Martinez comes in, scores a big goal. Lassiter scores a big goal. Duke played his best game. It was a great team win, guys.
Yeah, like to finish off before I leave, me personally, a player that I think they're not utilizing often and every game is Rouen. Because on that side, he's going to outpace most guys in this league. He's one of the fastest players in the league. Everybody knows, some people remember Nacho Piatti, him being stopped, but if they get the ball to him, or at least when he's running in stride, he's going to get there. And we saw it against Dallas. We saw it, but it's like inconsistent because sometimes we're the ones going, Rouen didn't play well. Yeah, because the ball didn't get to him. He's there. Just get him the ball and he'll get those crosses. Now on the left side, Raheem Edwards showed a very good game, retaliating from his red card, having a start. But definitely great game. But I'm telling you, they need to use Rouen more often until they're able to stop him. He's a roller coaster on that right side, and he will bring them at least to the final third more often. Is he a great crosser like Herrera? Maybe not, but he gets there more often than anything.
And he's intelligent. I saw his run. Very intelligent.
Patrice, Ali, if we can, we'll let Patrice go. He's got a radio obligation. Patrice, thanks so much again for all your
thanks, guys.
All your expertise, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you again next week on Monday. Ali, before we break away, this is more like it now. CF Montreal in the 8th spot. They've played 7 games. They have 10 points. They're 1 point behind Charlotte, who's played a game more. 1 point behind Atlanta, same amount of games. 2 points behind Cincinnati, who's played 1 game more. And on Saturday, CF Montreal is going to play host to Orlando, who's 2 points behind Montreal. So shaping up once again to be a winnable game. We know that CF Montreal started their season in Orlando, and it went well. They're able to pick up points, and this was a great home opener.
Yes.
It was a great home opener. So, look, we'll see you. We'll talk to you again in the next week. Ali, we'll talk to you again on Monday. And when we do, we're talking about a win, a tie, or a loss versus Orlando.
A win.
We're talking about. In the meantime, let's hope for some good news for Matthias Cóccaro, who probably should get some news on his X-rays at some point today. So once again, follow us on Instagram at SickPod CFMTL. The same thing on Twitter at SickPod CFMTL. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll be back in a couple of days from now with Nilton George joining me from Couscous Piri Piri on Thursday at 1 p.m. live. Ciao for now. Have a great day. Thanks, Ali.
Ciao.
Cheers.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, CF Montreal Talk on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.